A very good morning and a warm welcome to Trent Bridge Live, and another warm welcome to John Fretwell Centre here, the home of Welbeck County Cricket Club, where Notts Outlaws are due to face Surrey in the Metro Bank One Day Cup. Play is just under 10 minutes away. The toss has taken place between the two captains, and Hasib Hamid won that toss and he has elected to bowl. Now there's a bit of cloud, it's a bit overcast, it's windy. We're on a different pitch to what we were on 2 days ago, but Hasib Hamid won that toss and he has elected to bowl. So you might just be able to see just behind me, some of the Notts Outlaws players are just turning their arm over and getting ready for the action. But let's just tell you about the selected 11 that's been chosen for this fixture. Now, if you were watching just 2 days ago, you will notice that there's one change to the team that faced Hampshire 2 days ago, and that is Toby Petman comes in for Dane Patterson. Now, that is the only change from that 11. And one piece of just information, Hasib Hamid, the captain, is just 6 runs away from 1,000 career runs in the List A format. And so that is the 11 there for your Notts Outlaws. As I say, play is due to get underway in just over 5 minutes now, but let's just remind you and update you on the campaign so far from your Notts Outlaws. And you will see that after this game here against Surrey, it's 2 games away. You will see that the Outlaws, they travel down to Middlesex, then it's a trip to Kent, and we are back here in 9 days' time to face the Lancashire Lightning. Now, I don't know whether you can cut to me, Kirsty, I don't know whether you are, but we actually have the world famous Dave Bracegirdle just literally, come on Dave, you can walk by. Are you excited about today's game?
Very excited, always enjoy games against Surrey, really looking forward to it. My good chum Mark Church with us on commentary today. We'll be live on the BBC Sport website and app, and the live stream from 11 o'clock if you let me go.
There you go. Perfect there from Dave Bracegirdle. Now, a minute ago, we showed you how the campaign has fared so far for the Outlaws and also what's due to come. But let's have a look at the Group A table. And you will notice that the Outlaws, they currently sit in 3rd position there on 5 points, still in a positive net run rate. Whereas Surrey, they've had 3 games and unfortunately so far they've only got the 1 point. So it's a big game really. Obviously the Outlaws will be looking to bounce back from that defeat against Hampshire 2 days ago. And from Surrey's point of view, well, they'll be looking to get a win on the board as well. It's quite tight at the top. Leicestershire Foxes, they had a great result the other day as well. They sit on the top. 6 points, level with Hampshire. Your Outlaws, as I say, are 3rd on 5 points. Surrey at the bottom on 1. Now, as I said earlier, we're about 5 minutes away from the start of play. Just to remind you that the Outlaws won the toss and they will be fielding. The bell has just gone there. That does mean that the players and the umpires will be making their way out into the middle very, very shortly. And just one thing to say, it has started to drizzle. So obviously we will keep an eye on the weather forecast and everything that happens with that. But I think I will now hand over to your live coverage. And you heard him about 30 seconds ago. It is Mark Church and Dave Bracegirdle on commentary.
Watching the live stream, we'll have heard Aaron setting the day up. Very warm welcome to you all from Welbeck. The first shot, those of you that are looking on the live stream, you will see there's an umbrella up, and that's just over the last few seconds there, whilst Aaron was talking, 1 or 2 drops of rain have started to fall. I don't know if this is going to cause a little bit of a hold-up, but it does give us a moment or two anyway while we're waiting for the players and the umpires to take their place out in the middle, just to tell you what's happened this morning. It's Nottinghamshire versus Surrey in the Metro Bank One Day Cup competition. The toss took place around about half an hour ago. 2 England openers of the recent past, Rory Burns and Hasib Hamid leading their sides. Out at the middle, toss won by Hasib Hamid today for Nottinghamshire, and he said we'll have a bowl. So it will be Surrey who are batting first. Notts have made 1 change, the first change in the competition. They've kept the same 11 for the first few matches, but Toby Petman, who got a 4 for here last year, comes in for Dane Patterson. I'm Dave Bracegirdle from BBC Radio Nottingham. You know the drill. You can get in touch at Brace Cricket, and an absolute delight as always to greet all our visiting friends on the BBC commentators circuit and community, but amongst the oldest friends, and I say that in the kindest of ways. Always a pleasure to be joined by Mark Church from BBC London, who for the second year in a row has found himself in a field in North Nottinghamshire.
Well, it's wonderful to be back here actually, and a fantastic setup here, and really looking forward to this. And lovely greeting this morning. Two main highlights already is the lovely gentleman who Dave Bracegirdle gets on well enough with that he's already put his pizza order in for lunchtime, and seeing Dave Bracegirdle, the world famous Dave Bracegirdle, after a quick trip to the Portaloo, suddenly being on the live stream for a preview. So that was terrific. From a Surrey perspective, look, they played 3. One was abandoned against Middlesex. Against Leicestershire, Leicestershire chased down 3-2-6 very, very quickly and won that game. And in their last game against Kent, on the chase Surrey, and it wasn't the best of chases. So there's a bit to play for here for Surrey today. They haven't had a win in the competition as yet. And one bit of team news for you from the Surrey side is that Luke Griffiths will make his Surrey debut. He's a Surrey Academy player. He's on the talent pathways at Charterhouse School, 17 years old. So a big day for him today, but it's going to be tough this for Surrey today, and they sort of need their experienced players, the likes of Ryan Patel and Dom Sibley, who are out there at the moment opening up for them to make a real contribution today. So it'll be very interesting to see how today goes.
I think we're going to start, but drizzle's just getting a little bit heavier. It's going to be Brett Hutton from the far end, the Sukhum end, bowls, and the first ball is defended by Ryan Patel. So we're underway. I wouldn't imagine, Mark, unless it just eases up very quickly, that we're going to be out there for too long, because you can see the screen at the far end, which obviously understandably is black for these matches. You can really pick out the rain falling quite heavily. Yeah,
I'm not sure we will be out there much more after this delivery from Brett Hutton. Fingers crossed this is just a shower and this all disappears and we can get on with the game.
Here comes Hutton in once more, right on medium pacer, bowls, and Surrey are up and running. It might just be one on the extras column. Yes, I think we're going to have a tap of the knee from umpire Neil Mallender, who I've already upset this morning. So a leg by, they'll swap over, and it will be Dom Sibley to just take guard. Yeah, he's a massive Leeds United fan, Neil Mallender, and obviously if you share some time with him in the hotels, as sometimes we do obviously on away trips, you just find that you're accommodated in the same hotel as the umpires. He's always happy to talk about Leeds United, his glorious Leeds United, so gave him a bit of stick out there at the middle. This one is edged and a catch, and Sibley has gone. First ball he's faced, good catch by Calvin Harrison at second slip, and Surrey find themselves 1 for 1, and Dominic Sibley has come all the way up from the south to get a first baller, and Calvin Harrison takes the catch, and Brett Hutton has done what he has been doing with great regularity throughout the season, taking a wicket in his very first over. You remember in the county championship game between the two sides recently, he got Rory Burns in the first over of each innings. But Surrey 1 for 1. I've got BBC Radio Nottingham in our ears at the moment. I don't think they're going to come for an update. Mark, I'm just wondering if we should just ease the desk back a little bit as rain is falling. I don't know what you think about that.
No, good idea.
We've both
good idea.
got teas and coffees on the desk, which we don't want to spill.
There we go. Looked a good one, that from Brett Hutton for Dom Sibley first up. A couple of paces down the pitch, just nipped away from him off a goodish length. Good catch from Harrison low down to his left, but this is tough at the moment in the fact that it's drizzling, so that pitch is getting wet and it's going to nip. There's no doubt whatsoever about that, and Hutton, all credit to Brett Hutton, he will just bung it on a length and let it do what it's going to do. But looks like a good one for Dom Sibley first up, and out comes the captain Rory Burns at number 3.
Yes, and just go back 48 hours, and Brett Hutton did that to Fletcher Middleton on Friday, with Calvin Harrison again getting the opportunity at second slip to take the catch and doing so. umpire Ben Peverell has just realised or remembered or been told that Rory Burns is a left-hander, so he's moved over from point to the leg side.
I think the first thing Rory Burns did when he got out there was said to umpire Mallender, how long are we going to be out here for?
Yeah.
Which is a fair question because it is still raining. This pitch is getting damp and it's tough.
Just outside the off stump, and it goes through to Schardendorf, and just made reference to it. He perhaps has a little bit of a thing about facing Brett Hutton. Certainly he hasn't fared very well against him this season. With
all I would say here is good luck. If I was walking out there to bat, the one thing I would say to whoever arrived, good luck.
There is Hutton again from the far end, the Sucombe end, balls to Burns, will run it down to backward point, and there's no run, fielded by Ben Martindale. That'll be a new name, I think, to you, Mark. Ben Martindale, left-handed opening bat. He's played all 3 games in this year's competition that Notts have played. Obviously this is his 4th. He made his debut last year in 1 match against Gloucestershire, but he has had some reasonably good starts at the top of the order. We might see him later on if the weather lets us play all day as Hutton bowls outside the off stump. It's the end of the over, successful one for Nottinghamshire, and Surrey are 1 for 1. Might be 1 or 2 issues with the graphics at the moment, folks, so just bear with us watching the live stream. The graphics have momentarily disappeared. That is one thing about being in a field in North Nottinghamshire. You are reliant on the 2 tin cans and the bit of string just holding together all day. We've got pictures, hopefully you've got commentary, and we've got a bit of cricket at the moment, but if that drizzle doesn't go away or gets any heavier, we won't have any cricket. But Toby Petman is going to share the opening bowling duties. Not correct to say he's sharing the new ball. He's got one all of his own.
It was interesting looking on the live stream there, the chat between Burns and Ryan Patel in between overs. Both had grins on their faces, and I think they were probably saying all the best because, as I say, this is tough. Drizzle, greenish looking pitch. So Surrey just got to get through this now. They've already lost Dom Sibley, first ball. They've got to get through this. Petman, as you say, Mr. Bracegirdle, has warm memories of this ground and this game last year where he picked up his 4-for and bowled very, very well. He'll be bowling to the left-handed Ryan Patel. Started the second over then. Surrey 1 for 1, 2 slips in there. Petman right arm over the wicket to Patel. He's on the back foot, pushing into the offside. Won't get a run as the ball eventually potters up to Brett Hutton, stood up there at mid-off. I have to say, the other thing that I have noticed is this rather natty Notts Outlaws one day kit this year, which it slightly reminds me of, you know, when you drive along the motorway and they have those chevrons.
The chevrons,
yes, that tell you to keep your distance.
Yeah, keep 2 chevrons apart.
So they've got some yellow chevrons and some go faster stripes as well. As Petman, wearing 15, is over the wicket to Patel, gets him forward on a good length, solidly played by Ryan Patel, and Brett Hutton with a stumpman roll there, stood up at mid-off. So if you're just joining us, good morning to you. We are underway. That rain's eased up a bit now, I think, but Surrey have sort of been batting in the drizzle, and they've already lost Dom Sibley. First ball, very well caught by Harrison, low down to his left. At second slip off the bowling of Brett Hutton, and Toby Petman is bowling here to Ryan Patel, and over the wicket comes Petman to Patel, and Patel's forward again. Solid looking shot from Ryan Patel. Played very nicely in the last game, Ryan Patel, and made 68 against Kent. Played very positively. Surrey actually chasing there, 3-3-1. And at one point looked very much on for it with Burns and Patel together, and then Burns went with the score on 105, and sort of the run chase fell away. There was some really aggressive batting from Jordan Clark at the back end of the innings. Now we're coming off, so I think we are now.
Yeah.
So we are off now due to this drizzle. So that was a tough 9 balls for Surrey in the drizzle, and off come Ryan Patel and Rory Burns, and Dom Sibley will be sick here. 1 for 1. Sibley going to the 3rd ball of the innings in this drizzle, but it has got a bit heavier again now, so I'm not surprised we're off. And I'm not quite sure how long we'll be off for, because it doesn't look as if it's going anywhere at the moment, this rain.
It doesn't, know. It's filled in all around the ground. The covers are being wheeled on, and unlike Trent Bridge and the Oval indeed, of course, where you've got the hover cover and it's quickly out there in the middle, and then they can roll out the big tarpaulins. It's all been obviously done by hand. They've quickly got the mobile covers out there, pushed them out. There's a goodly number of ground staff here from the Welbeck Club, supplemented by the Nottinghamshire ground staff as well. So there's plenty of ground staff, and they've got the strip covered, but if they want to protect the bowlers' run-ups and cover the entire square, that's going to take a wee while to start dragging the tarpaulins on, and of course it'll take probably even longer to get them off. But it's one of those, it's a little bit heavier than the Peter Kay type rain, isn't it? It's not going to take too long to soak you through, and as Mark said quite rightly, Dominic Sibley can be sat in the corner of the dressing room ruefully thinking, well, what have I done wrong? And he didn't do an awful lot wrong, really. It was at the non-striker's end. A single was taken, got down on strike, got a good ball in difficult conditions, and against a bowler who's in the peak of his powers, having far and away his best season in county cricket. Brett Hutton found the edge, and Calvin Harrison doesn't drop many. So there we are, 1 for 1. It's not an awful lot we can say to entice you to stick around, other than we hope that very shortly we'll be back out there.
You could sing a song.
I could sing a song.
I'd stay for that.
I
definitely.
Generally need a little bit of lubricating, and it needs to be past the witching hour before I would go anywhere near it.
Goodness, I'm not going to be here for that.
And the words need to be on a screen.
Here comes someone who's looking delighted to be here today. Come to her first game of 50 over today with me, and she's now walking around the boundary's edge with her coat over her head. So yeah, it's a new fan of 50 over cricket. But no, I think the other thing very quickly here is this rain will ease off at some point, and we will get back out there. Brett Hutton could be absolutely deadly on this, and I think Surrey have got to work something out quite quickly, because I think if you just let Hutton bowl to you, he could end up with 7 for spit. So I think Surrey will be having a little natter about all of this, because we saw those 9 deliveries that it's not going to be straightforward, this at all, and that rain's got onto the pitch and the covers are on, so it'll be a bit sweaty under there now as well. But we'll have to wait to see. But I just think Surrey will have a chat about how do we take on Hutton here. Petman, of course, had a really good game here last year, but Hutton in these conditions, as I say, if you let him bowl to you, he could take 7 for nothing. So Surrey will definitely be having a natter about that. Dom Sibley might not be joining that conversation, poor fella, at the moment. But yeah, we'll wait to see how long we're off for. But at the moment, it's just persistent drizzle, which is a great shame.
It is indeed. Thank you for now, Mark. Folks will not be going anywhere. Obviously, we'll be here all day. As soon as the drizzle eases up and the umpires consider it is suitable to get the players back out there, play will resume, and we'll return with the commentary. If you want to get in touch, at Brace Cricket, at Back and Across, for Mark, and we'll be more than happy to give you a shout out or try and address any concerns you've got this Sunday morning. But in the meanwhile, this Metro Bank one-day cup game has been stalled, with Surrey 1 for 1 in the second over. When the players return, so will we. We'll just have a quick comfort break and grab a cuppa, and invite you to do the same. Well, hello everybody, welcome back to Welbeck. Hopefully you're still with us, either on the BBC Sport website and app or on the live streams provided by Nottinghamshire County Cricket Club. Links, I'm sure, on the Surrey County Cricket Club website. We can exclusively reveal, although those of you watching the live stream can see for yourself, the conditions have improved and we are going to get some more cricket. Surrey lost the toss, difficult, tricky conditions, start of the game. 1 for 1 they were after 9 balls. Poor old Dominic Sibley, you have to feel for him. He's hurt Nottinghamshire plenty of times in the past. Certainly remember that county championship game at Trent Bridge when, as a Warwickshire player, he scored 100 and a double 100 in the same game a few years ago. Well, today, the other side of the coin for Dominic Sibley, he was dismissed by Brett Hutton first ball. It was 1 for 1, it was pretty miserable, and the umpires took the players off, but it's glorious now. It's glorious to welcome you here to the John Fretwell Centre, field in the middle of North Nottinghamshire, somewhere between the villages of Suckholm and Spion-Cop and Church Warsop and Nettleworth. I'm Dave Bracegirdle from BBC Radio Nottingham. Alongside me, he's enjoyed the scenery around the ground. He's counted the pylons more than once, and now he's ready to go again alongside me. Mark Church.
Yes, and I think this will be tricky for Surrey. I really do. That those 9 balls were testing. It was nipping around anyway. I know that the rain was coming down, but now that the pitch has got a bit wet, it's had the covers on, now the sun's out, so it'll still be drying out, I would have thought, a little bit. So I think this will be tough for Surrey, I really do. Ryan Patel will be the man on strike. There are 3 balls to go. The second over of Surrey's 40 now, and it's Toby Petman, and he's bowling to Ryan Patel. We haven't had a run off the bat as yet. That 1 run was a leg by, so Patel's yet to get off the mark. Burns is yet to get off the mark, and Petman with the first ball after the resumption is into Ryan Patel, who's driving nicely up the ground. Brett Hutton dives to his left to do the fielding. The ball ricochets away, and Hamid has to come round and do the mopping up work and tidying up work. And first runs off the bat straight away after the rain break. 2 to Ryan Patel, and it means that Surrey move on to 3 for 1 in this second over. I'm pleased for the crowd as well, because there's an awful lot of people inside the ground, and they're all hunkering down in the rain, trying to find somewhere dry and sheltering, and now they're back out on their seats with sun, which is very nice, as Petman is into Ryan Patel, and he's on the pads of Patel, and that's nicely tucked away by Ryan Patel through the leg side. Off goes Hamid to do the fielding, slides and picks up, they think, about 3, but they decide 2's enough, and Ryan Patel moves on to 4, and Surrey move on to 5 for 1.
Those of you watching the live stream will observe at the moment we don't appear to have the graphics on. Producer Kirsty and the team are working on them. I'm sure they'll be back in just a moment, so we'll just try and remember to regularly give you the salient points from the one scoreboard we can see just about away to our left.
Final ball of the second over. Petman right arm over the wicket to Patel and beats him on the outside with a ball that just nips away from him. So that completes the second over. 2 gone, and it means that Surrey, after being stuck in by Nottinghamshire, now a 40 over game with the rain. 5 for 1. Rory Burns is yet to get off the mark, and Ryan Patel has 4.
It is going to be Brett Hutton to resume. No real surprise there from the Suckholm end. So a couple of slips. Matthew Montgomery at first, Calvin Harrison in his usual position at second. Martin Dale is the next closest to the batter. He's at backward point, walks in quickly. Hutton knots in there, green and gold. Lovely delivery from Hutton. You heard the familiar Hutton grunt there, and good delivery, which just shaped away a little bit from Rory Burns. Good bounce, good carry through to Dane Schardendorf.
I sort of said as we came off for rain that Hutton's, what will be 8 overs now, we think, they're going to be tough, these 8 overs for Surrey from this man. He's obviously in good form anyway.
Bowling with nice rhythm. Comes in again, and you can hear the grunt, and again it goes through to Schardendorf. I wonder if ask the batters, is it tougher now or tougher with the drizzle falling an hour and a half ago? I suspect they're rather pleased that they've not got the distraction of that constant drizzle.
Well, I think the difficulty for Dom Sibley as well is it wasn't much worse when they came off to when he was dismissed, so a little unfortunate that for Dom Sibley.
Usually the way, isn't it, as Hutton in once more, chopped away. There'll be a single here to Rory Burns. Slight fumble by Tom Loughton. Down at third. A couple of left-handers at the crease at the moment, of course, for Surrey. Ryan Patel and Rory Burns. Got Ben Folkes listed at 4. Ben Geddes, who Nottinghamshire supporters will have seen recently, had a short loan spell with Kent and played at Trent Bridge. Opened the batting with another loanee, Toby Albert, in that Kent defeat against Notts, as Hutton bowls to Ryan Patel and he digs it out. Geddes was the Surrey skipper when they came here 12 months ago.
Yeah, he's been batting at 7 in the first couple of games that Surrey have played. Made 60 odd in the first game, but I think he'll come up one in this game. Folks will come in at 4, and then it's been Cameron Steele, and Jordan Clark's been coming in ahead of Geddes, but not playing in this game. Jordan Clark.
Sun just getting a little brighter now as Hutton bowls again, and the grunt more familiar on the tennis courts than the cricket pitches around the country as he releases it, and nicely defended by Ryan Patel. Cameron Steele actually bowled quite nicely in the game here last year without referring back to the scorecard. Just memory tells me that I think that was the first time I'd sort of seen him as a bowling option, even in his days with Durham, the matches he played against Notts. I don't recall him bowling before, but I think he had a good time of it with the ball here last year, although Notts did run out winners, as Hutton again bowls and Patel can't get him away. A good, accurate, nagging tidy over here from Brett Hutton. Comes to an end, just that one single. 3 have gone of the allocation of 40, and Surrey are 6 for 1, with Brett Hutton having bowled 2 overs. Toby Petman, the one change to the Notts side, having replaced Dane Patterson. He's bowled 1 over and he's about to bowl his second. Just finishing that Surrey line-up then. Don't know Luke Griffiths.
Well, this is debut.
Bowler, all-rounder?
Yeah, a bit of an all-rounder, but more of a bowler. So, 17 years old, still at school. He's part of the Surrey Academy and sort of talent pathway scheme, and signed up for this competition and gets a debut in this one. Matt Dunn, of course. Great to see him back. Connor McCurr. And then Yusuf Majid. Cameron Steele with his leggies, and Luke Griffiths will be the bowling options. Possibly a little bit of Ryan Patel if needs be.
There's Moriarty playing as well,
and
isn't there?
Moriarty as well with his left arm spin. As Petman to bowl the 4th over. Burns is using his feet. Has he got an edge on that? They've all gone up. All gone up. Rory Burns turns his back and nothing given, but a good delivery. Again, movement there for Petman. Burns is trying to get down the pitch to him and take him off the length, but umpire Peverell there keeping the hands down in front of him. Petman was convinced there was a noise on that. Bit of a sound, bit of bat, but Rory Burns just turned his back, and umpire Peverell kept the hands down in front of him. But movement for Petman is what we expected. You can see what Burns is thinking. He's trying to get down the pitch and take Petman off his length. There's Petman's over the wicket to Burns. Burns stays in the crease this time, looks to drive through extra cover. Doesn't time this at all, and it rolls up towards mid-on. And round comes Hamid to do the fielding. And unsurprisingly, with all the clouds and a bit of rain, it feels like a good time to be bowling this. It really does.
I'm led to believe everybody has got the graphics on their live stream, watching at home or round the world, wherever you are. Everybody's screen, bar ours.
Ah, well, there we are. Still a great picture as Petman is in to Burns, and Burns looking to flick through the leg side, hits the pad, rolls away out there towards extra cover, and there is no run once again. But yeah, well, the pictures look terrific, and they've done an amazing job to get the live stream up and running here at Welbeck. It's a lovely ground for the spectators in the fact there's a couple of banks that they can sit up on high and watch from. Just looking at those away to our left, and you can see there people in front of the pavilion as Petman comes in over the wicket to Burns, and Burns plays inside the line of this one that again is just going away from him. And this is encouraging for Petman, isn't it? And he enjoyed his time here last year against Surrey, picked up those 4 wickets. But yeah, I think you'd want to be bowling at the moment.
Yes,
I think it's an absolutely cracking toss for Nottinghamshire to have won at 10:30 this morning. And now it's 40 overs aside, but as I say, I don't think this is going to be straightforward for Surrey. As Petman's right arm over the wicket to Burns, and Burns lets that one go outside his off stump, and then he just looks as if he wants to shape up to play a customary Burns cut shot. He does like it when there's a bit of width on it, Rory Burns, cutting through backward point. Got the committee tent down there in the distance. And you see a photographer there on the live stream. So good crowd in today here at Welbeck. A few Surrey spectators have made the trip as Burns waits once again as Petman's into him, and Burns again, that just straightens on him as he's lost it a touch as it hits the front pad and falls away in front of him. He kicks the ball away, but it's a maiden over from Petman, and it's a tough start this for Surrey. 4 gone, Surrey 6 for 1. Dominic Sibley going third ball, caught by, well, his first ball, but third ball of the innings, caught by Harrison, very well down low to his left hand side without scoring. Then the rain came. We're back out there. It's 40 overs aside, and Surrey 4 overs gone, and they're 6 for 1.
Yeah, you mentioned those spectators, Mark, on the banked areas. They actually did the right thing whilst the rain was up. They just put their brollies up, because what you don't want to do is, let's head off and try and get indoors and whatever, because and then the seats get wet and everything gets wet. As this is slightly short of a length from Hutton, and Rishi Patel tries to whip it away on the leg side and didn't get an awful lot on it. Ben Slater comes in from mid-wicket and does the fielding. So this is 40 overs aside, remember. 1 of 8 Metro Bank one-day cup matches scheduled to take place today, and with us now back on here, there are currently 8 matches in progress, which is good news. Hutton bowls, Patel drives up to the captain, Asib Hamid, who's had a happy knack of winning the toss in the last few matches in this competition, and again opting to chase, even though it didn't go particularly well here against Hampshire on Friday. Just quickly, the other matches today: Essex Yorkshire in the same group as Surrey and Notts. Essex 186 for 5 at Chelmsford. That's after 25 overs, so they're halfway through that allocation. Hutton past umpire Malinder, bowls slammed away through the offside, and that'll go for 4 by Rishi Patel. I beg your pardon, by Ryan Patel. Rishi Patel's at Leicester, isn't he? We've seen Rishi Patel fairly recently, but no, this is Ryan Patel, and he gave that a meaty thump through the offside, and just giving him a little bit of width. Nice looking shot.
Here, and you can see the release on that shot from Ryan Patel. It's been tough out there so far, but first one he's been able to get off to put it away very, very nicely to Ryan Patel.
Hutton again. Patel stands with his bat raised and leaves it alone. It goes through to Shardendorf. Top 2 in this group at the start of the day. Hampshire 3 wins out of 3. They're at home to Leicestershire, who've won 3 and they lost to Notts, their other game. 1-3, lost 1 out of their 4 matches. Hampshire batting at the Ageas Bowl. They're 132 for 1 again at the halfway stage, 25 overs. Kent to 141 for 1 at Beckenham against Middlesex. Notts play both of these this coming week. So that's this group sorted out as Hutton bowls and then chopped away to backward point where Martindale fields. And there's no run. In the other group, Durham 88 for 5 at home to Northants. Gloucestershire 165 for 1 at home to Somerset, West Country derby. Sussex 127 for 4 against Glamorgan. And understand it's a sellout at New Road, but you take these things bearing in mind the size of the ground, 4,500. A sellout at New Road where Worcestershire, I'm afraid, for their sake, are 86 for 7 against Warwickshire, who are another side with a 100% record. Hutton bowls to Patel. Again, it goes through to Shardendorf. End of the over. Just try and reach out of the box. 10 for 1 after 5 overs. Just that boundary from Patel in that over. He's on. That's a very good question.
8.
Now, where does it say that? Oh, there it is, right at the top. He's on 8, and his batting partner, Rory Burns, is on a single.
Yep, and we've had the 1 boundary so far. So Surrey going at 2 and over. There's no great surprise in these conditions, as Rory Burns will be on strike for the start of the 6th over, to be bowled by Toby Petman. Coming right arm over the wicket to Burns, who's down the pitch, swinging and missing, looking to go over the leg side, and I think that's Rory Burns sort of saying, right, I'm going to try something here. He really did go after that, Rory Burns. The head went up in the air.
Brendan McCullum, are you watching?
Yeah, well, I sort of get the thinking here from Rory Burns, in that in these conditions, you've got to try something, because if you just let Petman bowl at you and hit a length...
And it's the power play as well,
absolutely.
Mark, isn't it? There's only 2 out.
It's worth a go, as Burns waits again. Petman, was about to come in over the wicket, but I think Burns, possibly a fly or a gnat of some variety, going straight into his eye, so he's just walked away towards square leg. Burns has 1, Ryan Patel's on 8, Petman comes marching back to the top of his mark, that pile of sawdust next to him once again. She's right parallel with his start of his run-up. Petman, as over the wicket he goes to Burns, and he's on the hip of Burns, and Burns flicks this straight back up the ground to his former opening partner, Mr. Hamid, stood up there at mid-on, so those two obviously know each other very, very well.
Still showing plenty of sock, Hasib Hamid. He's got the most tapered. You would know these things. You're a fashion icon. Is that the skinny fit, do you think he's
I think they're
wearing?
called skins, aren't they? And they're sort of under your trousers, and you can get them under your shirt as well. As Petman is in, over the wicket to Burns, and Burns off his hip, flicks in the air, just over the top of square leg. Hanging high in the air was Lyndon James. He's got a fair bit of that though, Rory Burns. He likes it on his hip, but James was hanging in the air. He's a fairly tall character, is Lyndon James, but it was over the top of him and away for 4. Burns moves on to 5. Surrey move on to 14 for 1.
Yeah. I mean, he just cleared Lyndon James. He's 6'4", 6'5", something of that order. Leapt in the air, just couldn't quite get a fingernail on it.
As I say, he's a tall character, Mr. James, but he was hanging in the air there, and it just about got over the top of him as Petman comes right arm over the wicket once again. Burns is down the pitch to him, trying to slam him down the ground again. Bottom hand came into this, didn't really time it, and that was rolled up towards Hamid. Stood up there at mid-on, but Rory Burns very aware, A, in the power play, and B, also, this is tough conditions, and if you just let the bowler run in and hit a length at you, life is going to be very, very difficult. So Rory Burns is just trying to take Petman off his length as well. Petman over the wicket he comes again to Burns, and Burns just turned around a touch but plays it nicely, drops it into the offside. Quick single throw, hits the stumps at the bowler's end, but Burns is home with the sliding bat, but a sharp piece of work by Slater in there, coming in and picking up and throwing at the bowler's end. But Burns safely home for the single. He moves on to 6. Surrey move on to 15 for 1. And this the 6th of their 40 overs as it is now, so it's sort of like the old 40 over comp that we used to have, which I used to enjoy. The old 40
very
over
much.
comp.
What Sunday afternoons were made for.
Yep, absolutely, and they are today as well. We're back to 40 over cricket as Petman, right arm over the wicket he comes to Patel, and Patel's swinging him. He's got hold of that. There's Ryan Patel. He's just opened up that front leg and swung it for 6 over the leg side flat. It's a good shot that from Ryan Patel. It's what Rory Burns was trying, but you heard the noise of that come out the middle of the Ryan Patel bat, and that's our first 6. Good bit of batting from Ryan Patel. He's on to 14, end of the 6th over, and Surrey move on to 21 for 1.
Yes, real show of intent there from both batters during that particular over. Do need, you fancy, to just try and accelerate the fairly modest run rate of the opening few overs now. Conditions appear to be set fair for the remainder of the day, so Surrey will want to post a challenging score. Here's Hutton from the Suko men. That's a good delivery, beats Burns outside the off stump and goes through to Schardendorf. Still a couple of slips in there, Matthew Montgomery and Calvin Harrison. We're still without graphics on our particular screen. If Aaron and Kirsty are able to remedy that, it'll be hugely advantageous, bearing in mind I can hardly see the one scoreboard that is on the ground. Well, it's not the only one on the ground, the other one is actually behind us, so we can't quite see that one either. Thanks to our Bijou marquee, another good delivery from Hutton. All 6 or 8 inches outside the off stump. The old corridor of uncertainty, as it was once described. If you came along on Friday, not quite as many people here yet as we're here on Friday. Hopefully now the weather is a little settled and the Sunday morning service will be over round about now. We might get 1 or 2 more pop down to Welbeck Cricket Club to join us. Houghton bowls to Burns. That's a nice looking shot, just bobbed down, crouched down and guided it away down to third man, fielded by Tom Loughton. I'm sure we'll see him into the attack.
Yeah, looking forward to watching Tom Loughton, someone I've not seen before, so
well,
looking forward to watching him.
You're in for a treat.
Oh, good. I like treats.
Born in York, Tom Loughton, somewhere you're heading off to in the next day or two.
Tonight.
That's Surrey's next game. Is that Tuesday?
Tuesday.
At York
Tuesday,
Cricket Club. Notts went there a couple of years ago and it just started and then it was rained off. This is pushed back to Brett Hutton. There wasn't a wicket go down. We didn't even have enough time for a Dominic Sibley type incident. Ben Slater and Sol Budinger were out there opening the batting for Notts and starting to make a bit of headway when the rain set in, and that was that.
I think the forecast for Tuesday's okay, actually, so I think we'll be all right for that one. I'm looking forward to it. I haven't been to York.
I've not been to Radlett, not so at Radlett on Tuesday.
Yeah.
In the suburbs. Next delivery is chopped away by Patel to backward point, where Martindale does the fielding.
Yeah, Radlett's a lovely ground. Unfortunately, this year for Surrey, it was underwater when they arrived and got even more underwater as the morning wore on. So everybody was away by midday. But no, it's a lovely ground. Like anywhere, it's great if the sun shines. Yep. But with the rain, it always makes it pretty tricky at the outgrounds.
Here comes the wicket taker. Oh, Houghton. Again left by Patel. 1 or 2 people have taken the trouble to get in touch. Really appreciate that. At Brace Cricket at back and across. The score, by the way, 22 for 1 after 7 overs. Surrey put into bat by a Seabermead. They lost Dominic Sibley, 3rd ball of the match. First ball he faced, caught at second slip by Harrison from the bowling of Hutton. The mod afternoon, gents, from a bright and breezy Sevenoaks down in Kent.
Lovely.
Looking forward to 2 day trips to Radlett and Canterbury this week, Mark. Hopefully we'll get to see you. Come on, Notts, says another Mark.
This won't surprise you.
Oh,
well done.
We're in the
Graphics.
We're in the debt of producer Kirsty.
This won't surprise you, but I know a little story about Sevenoaks. There are actually 8 oaks now.
Are there?
Well, there were 7. Then the famous hurricane of '87, and they replanted 7, but one still stood.
That's the Michael Fish hurricane.
Yeah, one still stood. So there's actually 8 oaks now in Sevenoaks.
We've got graphics.
As Petman with our 8th over coming into Rory Burns, who's down the pitch to him, looking to whip it leg side, hits the pad, rolls away towards backward point, and there is no run. Sevenoaks Vine is the cricket club down there.
Is it, by Jove?
Very nice ground in the middle of Sevenoaks.
Oh, I'm thinking I'm going there. I'm not. No, Mark the mod is from Sevenoaks.
Lovely. It's a lovely part of the world down there. 2 slips in there for the left-handed Burns as Petman comes over the wicket to Burns, and Burns is beaten on the outside. Again, lovely delivery from Petman. These are ideal bowling conditions. They really are. Testing the techniques of both Patel and Burns. Not easy, this. And I don't think it's going to get any easier.
I appear to have been snapped, looking pensive.
Marvellous.
Well, looking something, looking in pain. In truth, I've just
I'd say-
retweeted it at Brace
I'd
Cricket.
say
Somebody from Welbeck Cricket Club.
Looking philosophical, I would say. Who are they?
The caption is he looking for the cake tent?
Rory Burns has tried a ramp here. Now, what's that hit? Rory Burns, I think that's hit the helmet of Rory Burns. Yep. So we'll have a concussion protocol here because Rory Burns has tried to ramp that. It's gone straight up and hit the side of his crash helmet. He looks okay. He's wandered down to have a chat with Ryan Patel. It gives the viewing public a chance to see the Rory Burns bandana, which is always a joy.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so he's looking a little like Roger Federer in his prime at the moment, but Paul Steele, the Surrey physio, will come running out and do the old concussion protocol here with Rory Burns. There he is. If you're watching the live stream, they'll go through a number of questions. What day of the week is it? What time is it? What's your name? Where have you come from? And I always think with those questions, most cricketers couldn't answer them even if they hadn't just been struck.
Ask some of the Surrey players today where you are, and they might
Well,
they might
that's the
struggle.
thing.
Certainly, Kevin James spent the whole day with me here on Friday and didn't have a clue where he was.
Yes, well, I have to say this morning on our journey here, it was just bung it in the old sat-nav and see where we end up. So this is where we are. But yeah, Rory Burns there is just trying to take that with the ramp straight over the keeper's head, but it's gone straight up and hit him on the side of the head. So he's okay, thankfully, Rory Burns.
Well, like you, I knew exactly the same what was going to happen then when the helmet was struck. I watched a football match yesterday and I sort of couldn't help but compare cricket to football because there was a clash of heads. Clearly both players were, that hurt a bit, went down, physios came on, and just to check are they all right. They were both, up and back playing a minute or two later. It's certainly not as pronounced or as prolonged the protocol.
Petman's into Burns, nicely played, just works this into the leg side. They've got a man out now at deep backward square for Burns. They know that's a strength, of course, of Rory Burns, so it's just a single out there to deep backward square, and that takes Rory Burns on to 8 and moves Surrey on to 23 for 1 here at Welbeck. Surrey stuck in by Nottinghamshire at 11 o'clock this morning. We had 9 balls. It was 1 for 1 after Dominic Sibley was out first ball in the first over. Then it rained, and we've been back out there since 12:30, and Surrey have 40 overs as Petman is into Patel. Here he goes again. Oh, that's down towards us. Watch yourself here, Dave Bracegirdle. Yep, that well fielded.
I'll throw it back.
Well done. So Dave Bracegirdle now is going to bend down and have a good look at the ball here, because that was absolutely hammered, and Dave Bracegirdle's getting a bit of a cheer there, but you can see where Patel was immediately thinking of hitting that, because that front foot, again, outside the leg stump, gave himself some room and then absolutely thumped it straight down the ground and into the tent for 4. 27 for 1. Patel moves on to 18 as Petman's in once again to him. Now he's down the pitch once more. It's well bowled by Petman, just goes back of a length at him, try to swing that leg side. Bottom edge rolls away into the leg side, and there is no run. End of the over, so that's the first power play done and dusted.
We think.
Have
we seen a signal?
Not as yet, but we think it. Well, yourself and Holly quite rightly thought it was going to be 8. I was going sensibly with 10, 20, 10.
Umpire Malinder.
Here we go. So 8 over power play, and Surrey in those 8 overs, 27 for 1. Ryan Patel on 18, Rory Burns on 8, and Dave Bracegirdle has already reenacted his famous moment with Martin Emerson at Trent Bridge.
Oh no.
Yeah, the game got delayed for you two trying to take photos of each other with the ball. Yes, that game didn't finish till 10:30.
Here's Hutton. So they're out the power play, but Brett Hutton keeps going, and he's slapped away for, well, I was going to say for runs. He's hit it straight to Ben Slater at deep backward square. And so they just take a single. Nice looking shot from Rory Burns, who's moved on to 9. Ryan Patel has 18. Yeah, the Emerson photograph of me with the ball and Ian Ward's commentary. All right, take your selfie, then can we have our ball back?
Yeah, absolutely. If I can think of 2 men that were going to delay the game for the ball, you two would have been straight at the top of my list, I have to say. There, you were out, felt like there.
Hutton to Patel, punches this into the offside for a single, 29 for 1. He had a good knock against Notts at Guildford, didn't he, a couple of years ago. Him and Jamie Smith were leathering the ball to all parts. It was another rain-affected match between these two sides 2 years ago. Surrey getting the better of the exchanges that day when Jeremy Coney shared the mic with Mark and myself. Next ball. Again, the grunt. Don't know if it puts Rory Burns or any batter that faces him off. It puts me off listening to him, but Burns defended that one. Here we go, Steve Crawley. Your long barrier needs some work, Dave. Thank you, Steve. He's obviously watching.
I thought you did very well there.
Well, I could see it was coming under the desk, and I couldn't do anything other than put my foot there and stop it, and I stopped it, and then I threw it back. What more do they want?
I thought we were very professional the way we just continued commentating.
Yeah, there was no high-pitched squealing on this particular occasion. On Bowles and Burns, just he's trying to reach sixth gear very quickly, isn't he, Rory Burns? It's got one away, a big expansive shot away for a boundary, and that's sort of the way he's looking to go here.
Well, I think he's very aware that obviously these are tough conditions, and I think Surrey have lost 10 overs of batting, so I think he's just trying to get his foot down if he can, but it's not easy on this surface.
It's 9 off 27 at the moment. Hutton bowls to him again. That's a nice shot, and there's going to be runs here. Might just be cut off by LPW. Really good sliding stop, Liam Patterson-White, that is. They do come back for 3. Good cricket all round. Nice shot from Burns, nice bit of fielding out there, and Surrey move on to 32 for 1. If you weren't listening to the commentary on Friday, and of course I appreciate at least half of our audience wouldn't have been listening on Friday for obvious reasons, Notts were playing Hampshire. From time to time you will hear a noise in the background which sounds like a rusty swing.
Yes.
Swinging. It's our bijou marquee here where we're accommodated at the Charlie French end of the ground, and it is held together by sellotape and plasticine and blue tack and all the rest of it. Hutton bowls an aggressive bouncer which is deemed okay by the umpires. End of the over, 32 for 1 after 9 overs here on BBC London, BBC Radio Nottingham. But every time the wind blows and our tent rocks, you'll hear the metal just creaking a little bit behind us.
It sounds a bit like me getting out of bed in the mornings these days, I have to say. And it sounds like it could blow away at any point, but it's well fastened down. I have to say that final effort delivery of Brett Hutton there scared the life out of me. And we're about 80 yards away from him. It really was an effort grunt, wasn't it, from Mr. Hutton?
Now I've promised you a treat today, and here it is. Tom Lowton.
Look, I'm looking forward to this.
He's going to have a bowl.
Well,
you remember the old school playground game that the girls really loved? Occasionally the boys would be invited to join in, or they'd have a go. Of hopscotch.
Oh yes.
Right. So if I can just plant that in your mind as you're watching Tom running in.
Okay, lovely, super. I'm trying to remember hopscotch. That was where you put one foot down and then two, and then one into the sort of little boxes, wasn't it? So is he going to hop in? This is very exciting.
Well, it's his own variation on a theme.
Oh, lovely.
Bit of Jonathan Edwards as well involved.
Super. Well, I look forward to this. So I haven't seen this young man as yet, Mr. Lowton. So let's have a look at this. Yep, there's a little skip, little hop, and then another skip, another hop. Goodness me! As in over the wicket he goes to Burns, and it's short and it's flicked leg side by Rory Burns, and they'll get a single. So I see what you mean. And Burns one more. And Burns is just indicating there to Ryan Patel, because how much these two have seen him move, I don't know. Is it in his action as well? He just falls away a touch, so he's going to be spearing this across Patel and Burns. So Burns has just indicated that, but it must be difficult to set yourself up.
It's like in a penalty shootout, the goalkeeper saying to the ref, he's stuttering in his run-up.
Absolutely. It's a bit like when I really need to get to the toilet, as here comes Lowton in over the wicket to Patel, and he's on his hip, and he turns this one into the leg side, and they'll pick up a couple. So 2 more to Ryan Patel, 2 more to the Surrey total. They're 35 for 1 in the 10th.
Kevin James obviously was with me on Friday for the Hampshire game, and he knows a little bit about bowling. Of course, 2 decades in the professional game for Middlesex and Hampshire. He just wonders if maybe in the background at home there was an old tree root or something, because it's that middle jump as well.
There, and then he goes again. Well, he's in over the wicket once more, and looking to drive is Ryan Patel. I think up to the bat is definitely the way to go here. Thick inside edge onto his front pad. Martindale comes up from backward point to do the fielding, and there's no run. But it doesn't matter how you get there. It's what happens when you let go of the ball. That's the key thing. But it must just be quite difficult as a batter to sort of, if you've never played against him before, to set yourself up, because you get yourself ready and then he's hopping again at you. Here comes the second hop, and here comes Loughton over the wicket to Patel. Goes full of length, driven by Patel, straight out there to short extra cover. Montgomery doing the fielding, and he's thrown to Mr. Hutton. Is slightly errant, so Mr. Hutton has to come jogging back towards us and picks the ball up somewhere near the boundary rope, and Loughton gets the ball back in his hands once more. Burns down at the non-striker's end on 13. Here we go again. The first hop, now the second hop, and then over the wicket comes Loughton, and he's outside that leg stump again and swinging this straight down the ground is Ryan Patel. Didn't get all of it, there was a cry catch it, but Brett Hutton wasn't going to get to that. And Ryan Patel's just picking length brilliantly here, and what he's doing is he's just getting that front foot outside his leg stump and then throwing his hands through it. Mr. Hutton has just gone past the marquee, and then will come jogging back with the ball. So there is 1 ball to go of this, the 10th over, and Loughton just waiting for Hutton to get back to his fielding position. Now he's going to come round the wicket to Ryan Patel. 25 to Ryan Patel. He looked in good nick in the game against Kent, did Ryan Patel. Round the wicket goes Loughton to him, and Patel is flashing at this uppishly down towards third man it goes, and they will pick up a single, and that will be 1 more to the total. So Loughton's first over is done and dusted, and it's 40 for 1 Surrey. So they're going along at 4 and over after the 10 overs, with Ryan Patel on 26, Burns on 13. But as I say, it doesn't matter what you look like, it's just what comes out of your hand. That's the key thing, isn't it?
That's essentially what Kev James was saying, because I suggested, as a young bowler, would a coach try and iron that out of him? But he said no. If it, as you said, if it works down at the business end, it doesn't matter how many hop, skips and jumps. We're going to get Lyndon James bowling. I'll mention that because this will be the first time in the One Day Cup that Lyndon will have bowled. He's batted at 3 throughout. He's taken on an enormous workload. You may remember at the Oval, he was pretty much, the last man standing, wasn't he? He'd not had periods where, obviously, Jake Ball left the game in the first session. Brett Hutton had terrible cramp on the first day, and Dane Patterson as well on the last day. Here is Lyndon James, then bowling to Ryan Patel. First ball driven into the offside, and there's no run. Now there's plenty of things I could say to this. I won't. I'll just mention Samit Patel has liked all the tweets about me and cakes that have been pushed through this morning. So if you're listening, Samit, you're almost putting the bullets in the gun for me, but I'll resist. Hope you're well, fella.
It is a magnificent cake tent, isn't it?
I think all the ladies of the club, as Lyndon James bowls, perhaps sounds a little bit more sexist than it should. That maybe the gents as well, but certainly a single taken as Slater does the fielding. There were certainly just ladies that I saw in there selling the cakes, the vast array of cakes, but as I understand it, the ladies of this parish do their little bit for the fundraising cause of Welbeck Cricket Club by all baking a cake and bringing them in, and then they're sold off to raise funds for the club. Like I say, I hope there's 1 or 2 of the gents, and maybe even 1 or 2 of the gentlemen players have baked a cake as well. Burns pushes this to Martindale at point, but when you do that, I suppose there's the danger that everybody racks up with a Victoria sponge, but there's clearly been a bit of coordinating because they're all different, aren't they?
Oh, there's all sorts in there. There really is. There's a filthy dark cloud above us at the moment.
Oh, that's what I was going to do a moment
It's
ago. I was going to take a photo of
in
it.
the middle of the night, all of a sudden. Now, whether this has got any rain in it, I don't know. But you'd think it might have. If it is going to rain, it's going to be brief.
Lyndon James. Balls to Rory Burns, a push into the offside, there's no run. People collect all sorts of things, don't they? If there's anybody out there that collects photographs of pylons, I've got thousands of them from our visits here to Welbeck, because from the commentary position here, we can see pylons and pylons and pylons stretching into the...
Do you think that collect pictures of pylons?
I bet there are, you know.
Yes,
Do you not think?
Well, they probably are, yeah. Not sure I want to have dinner with them, if I'm honest, but there we are.
James in again to Burns, works this off his hip, nicely done, but Ben Slater over on the pavilion side of the ground, away to our right. The members sat in their seats in front of the pavilion there, watching on. 3 deep they are in places. Another single, what's the score? 42 for 1. I've now got the graphics thanks to producer Kirsty and her magic fingers. I was still leaning out of the tent trying to see the scoreboard. It's a lot easier just to look at the screen in front of us. Patel 27, Burns 14 as Lyndon James to conclude his first over. He's gone for 2 singles, make that 3 singles as he's played onto the leg side, and Hamid quickly to it, loses his glasses on this occasion, normally loses his cap as well, but just the glasses this time. And it's 43 for 1 after 11 here on BBC Radio Nottingham Online, BBC London, with myself, Dave Bracegirdle, and the esteemed Mark Church.
Very kind, thank you. Not a word that's normally associated with me, I have to say. But yeah, 11 gone, 43 for 1. So this partnership is worth 42. It's been hard work this so far. It really has.
Where are you with the word dulcet? Because in the rain delay, at least 25 different people said, heard your dulcet tones on the Mansfield Town game yesterday, Dave. The dulcet tones. I never know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Very much a sign of admiration
dulcet.
For you. Here is Loughton coming round the wicket with our 12th over, and this one Ryan Patel's tried to run away down to third man, beats the outside edge of the bat. Shodendorf takes it away to his left-hand side. It is like being on the high seas here now, isn't it? It really
it's a bit choppy.
It certainly is.
And it's another phrase, I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's certainly a phrase in this part of the world. It's a bit black over Bill's mothers.
Right.
Have you heard that phrase?
I have.
Yeah.
Yes. Where is Bill's mother?
Well, that's a good question.
That's the question. As
who is Bill?
Loughton comes around the wicket. Oh, that'll be 6. That is just picked up by Ryan Patel. It's too short, and Ryan Patel has just swung that leg side for 6. So I think what we're seeing here is anything short will go, and that's nicely put away by Ryan Patel. He does look in good form. He's on to 34 from 35 deliveries, 49 for 1, and yes, Loughton
that rusty
gets
swing.
the ball back in his hands once again, but it's just too short, and Ryan Patel's just deep in his crease there and just swings it leg side.
Tell me who the happier side is right now.
I think Surrey.
Yeah.
I think Surrey are the happiest side. This is hard work, but they're only 1 wicket down.
Yeah.
12th over. Loughton comes round the wicket once again to Patel. He's looking to drive, thick inside edge, hits the front pad, runs away into the offside, and there's no run. I think what they've done very well, these two, is they've had the odd ball that has done far too much and beaten the outside edge, but Patel in particular has worked out, if it's on a line and length that I think I can, I'm going to throw that front foot outside the leg stump, free up my arms and go leg side. And he's done that pretty well so far, as Ryan Patel. As Loughton skips again, once, twice, and then round the wicket he comes once more to Patel, and it's turned into the leg side by Ryan Patel, and Loughton bends down, picks up off his own bowling, and there's no run. Because you wouldn't think in these conditions that life's going to get any easier today. I think it's going to be like this all day, isn't it?
You'd imagine.
So I think anything...
Although we have got a bit of blue sky appearing.
Yeah, there's a nice little patch. Whether it's coming here, I don't know. It looks like it might be. Oh my lord.
That filthy black one's gone there.
Yes, it has, over Bill's mother. As round the wicket goes Loughton once again to Patel, and Patel drives handsomely away through extra cover. There is a sweeper coming round to do the fielding, and that means they will pick up a couple because Ben Slater comes round to do the fielding. So that's 2 more to Ryan Patel. And that's the 50 up for Surrey. It's the 50 partnership as well between these two. 51 for 1. And they came together with the score on 1. So they've done it pretty well so far, and it hasn't been straightforward at all. Patel's going at a runner ball, 36 off 36. Loughton, right arm round the wicket as the sun does come out, and Ryan Patel's just clipping this into the leg side, straight to mid wicket, won't get a run. End of the over, 12 have gone, 8 off that over, including the 6 of course, and Surrey find themselves 51 for 1 with Patel on 36 and Burns on 14.
Can I just say a huge thank you to Marcus Hook, who Mark will know, esteemed cricket broadcaster, journalist, author, archivist, statistician, historian, all-round good egg. Here on Friday, I was at the footy yesterday and had a little rehydration at the cricket club last night on the way home, got in, and it was almost getting time for having a bit of a listen to the Anthony Joshua fight on the radio, and I thought, I've not done any stats at all for tomorrow, really ought to, as Lyndon James comes in from the Suckhome end, and this one flies off a thickish outside edge down to third. Can't see away to my left, but they're going to rush hard and back for 2, so it was clearly fielded. 2 more runs.
Just going to leave you for 2 seconds.
Okie
BBC
dokie.
Radio London may want an update.
This is an absolute joy. Not that you're leaving me, Mark, but the fact that BBC London are asking for an update. So I'm flying solo at the moment. We can talk about Mark, but we won't. Doing an update for BBC Radio London's afternoon sports show as Lyndon James bowls, and this is edged, and it's gone between Schardendorf and Calvin Harrison for 4. It's a genuine nick, and away for runs for the Surrey captain, who's a little fortunate there. Lots have had 2 slips in the early stages of this contest. They've now just released Matthew Montgomery out into the wild, so there's only Harrison there, and as a result he's gone much wider, and this absolutely bisected them. Would have gone straight to first slip, straight in his hands, and been gobbled up, I'm sure, but Rory Burns instead gets 4 runs. The unlucky James, we'll call him, comes in once more to bowl to Burns and has to field off his own bowling. Rory Burns has 20, having faced 35 deliveries. Ryan Patel 36 from 39, and Surrey are 57 for 1, losing that first wicket in the opening over, just the 3rd ball of the match. Just a 51-year-old had earlier got in touch, said need to come back today, Dave, from that disappointing defeat to Hampshire. Lyndon James bowls, and Burns has had a real mow at that one, doesn't get anything on it, and it goes through to the wicket-keeper